Lesson 6. The challenges faced by the Philippine nation. Course. Readings in the Philippine history.
Martial law was declared by President Ferdinand Marcos Sr. to supposedly protect the country from threats like communism and rebellion. He said weapons were entering from China and that the move was meant to bring peace. Using the 1935 Constitution, Marcos took full control of the military and could jail anyone without trial. This marked the beginning of a period of fear and strict control in the country.
The justification for martial law was suspicious. One major reason given was the so-called ambush on Juan Ponce Enrile, but this was later revealed by some insiders as staged. Marcos signed the martial law papers on September 17 but only announced it on September 23 to create shock. He claimed he was waiting for signs from God, raising more questions than answers.
Many believed the ambush was fake and planned to scare the people and gain their support. Marcos used media to spread propaganda, making it hard for people to know the truth. He used religion to defend his actions and manipulated both the public and the military. This led to misinformation and blind trust in government.
Although martial law officially ended in January 1981, Marcos still held on to most of his powers. He continued to issue new laws and arrest critics. The 1981 elections were questioned because the opposition was weak and many groups boycotted. Power remained in Marcos's hands, and true democracy was still far off.
Ninoy Aquino returned to the Philippines in 1983 but was killed at the airport. His assassination shocked the country and led to protests across the nation. People began to lose trust in the Marcos government and demanded truth and justice. This moment sparked a stronger call for change.
To prove he still had the people's support, Marcos called for early elections in 1986. Cory Aquino, Ninoy's widow, ran against him. The church and citizens noticed cheating during the elections. Cory called for peaceful protest. Despite the cheating, Marcos refused to step down, worsening the crisis.
Top officials like Enrile and Ramos broke away from Marcos and asked the people for support. Thousands gathered in Epifanio de los Santos Avenue to protect them. The U.S. government told Marcos to resign. On February 25, 1986, Marcos and his family left the country. Cory Aquino became president through peaceful and united people power.
During martial law, over 70,000 people were jailed, 34,000 tortured, and more than 3,200 killed. Many families never found out what happened to their loved ones. Citizens lost their basic rights, and fear dominated their lives. It was a dark time that deeply hurt many Filipino families.
Crony capitalism means that the government favors only a few individuals, often because of friendships or connections. This led to corruption, with friends of Marcos becoming rich using public money. Fair business competition disappeared, and ordinary people suffered while those close to power lived in luxury.
Evidence of corruption included Marcos's children studying abroad using public funds and the family's lavish spending. They bought expensive cars, planes, and stayed in costly hotels. Imelda Marcos was known for shopping trips abroad, all paid for with people's taxes. Roberto Benedicto, a fraternity brother of Marcos, used his position to benefit personally. He opened secret bank accounts in Switzerland, took over sugar trade profits, and misused his power as ambassador. He was linked to stealing more than $500 million meant for the people.
Fluarendo supported Marcos's campaign and gained large banana plantations. He removed indigenous peoples from their lands and used prisoners for labor. While workers were hungry, bananas were used to feed animals of the rich. This shows how profit was valued over people's rights.
Enrile played a major role in collecting coconut levy funds from farmers. Instead of helping farmers, the 475 million pesos collected was used for private businesses and events. The money also helped fund Imelda Marcos's luxurious projects. It was a betrayal of the farmers' trust. Cojuangco, godfather to Marcos's children, gained control of the coconut industry. He bought banks using public funds and avoided accountability. He became very wealthy and controlled key businesses. His rise shows how personal ties were used for personal gain.
Elizalde led an agency for indigenous peoples but abused his power. He claimed to discover the Tasiday tribe for fame and used this to gain business advantages. He even sold rifles back to the government. His actions were examples of deception and abuse of trust.
Corruption didn't start with Marcos. It was already present during Spanish rule. Many leaders believed being in power meant personal gain. Marcos made this worse by turning public service into self-service. This culture of impunity remains a problem we must fight today.
Studying this era teaches us the value of democracy, transparency, and vigilance. It reminds us what happens when one person has too much power. We must stay informed, speak up, and make sure history doesn't repeat itself. Our future depends on remembering the past.
Corazon Aquino was born in Tarlac in 1933. She studied in the US and married Ninoy Aquino. A mother of 5, she became the first woman president in the Philippines. She led the People Power Revolution and helped bring back democracy through peaceful means.
When Marcos declared martial law, Ninoy was imprisoned, and the Aquino family went into exile. After Ninoy was killed in 1983, Cory became the symbol of hope. She ran in the 1986 elections. Despite cheating, the people backed her, and she became president on February 25, 1986.
In 1986, Cory Aquino spoke before the U.S. Congress. She shared the Filipino people's struggle and asked for help to recover from a $26 billion debt. The speech was powerful and moved many. As a result, the U.S. gave $200 million in aid, offering hope for rebuilding.
Cory remembered Ninoy's sacrifice and celebrated the people's victory through peaceful change. She called on the world to support democracy in the Philippines. Her message showed courage, unity, and hope for a better future.
The speech showed the painful effects of Marcos's rule, the heavy debt, and how the Filipino people suffered. But it also shared a vision of growth and hope. It reaffirmed the strong friendship between the U.S. and the Philippines and celebrated the return of justice.
From Cory's story, we learn to turn pain into strength and fight for what is right. Standing together, even without violence, can lead to change. Asking for help and supporting one another are important steps toward rebuilding our nation.
Cory's speech still inspires us today. It teaches us to value democracy, speak up for truth, and believe in peaceful protest. Her courage reminds us that one voice can make history. It strengthens our pride in being Filipino and encourages honest leadership.